Hello, we are Team 5, and my teammates are Sara, Paloma, Daniel, Mariana, and myself, Dalia. We are going to present the components of the research project with a little diagram to have a better understanding. First of all, we will have the index divided into appetizers, main course, and dessert to go. We will further explain why we divided the elements into these three categories in the introduction. Here we have the introduction of this presentation. The scientific research seeks to formulate new theories and assess pre-existing ones in order to expand our understanding. At the same time, a research project is defined as the document that guides the researcher's activities. In this document, we will review all the different components that comprise a research project divided into three segments for a better understanding. These are, as I mentioned, appetizers, main course, and dessert to go.
Then we have the abstract that basically it's a short and descriptive paragraph that talks about the entire project. And it's important because readers and researchers may know what your study is about just by simply reading the section of the project. Then we have the introduction that basically provides a general overview about the entire project you're making and includes the research problem, why you selected, and the justification of why you're doing such an experiment. Moreover, it's important to include what you expect to learn from this experiment, the hypotheses you have about it, and the objectives, the general ones and the specific ones. And finally, one tip that you can use to make this section is to apply the inverted triangle structure that is basically going from the most general information to the most specific one about your project.
Main course framework. Here you must include citation related to the research on the topic chosen, the results obtained, and relevant perspectives. Do not forget the APA format and guidelines when you citate from other researches. Methodology. Prepare for the experiment to test your hypothesis. There are several ways to develop. Every experiment must be reproducible, so it should be planned and described in a way that any experimented can repeat it with the same result. Results analysis. The researcher repeats the experiment as often as necessary to minimize the percentage of error. The purpose of a statistic is to obtain, analyze, and simplify information, allowing for easy and accurate interpretation of the results.
Finally, the dessert to go. Here we find the conclusions and recommendations. The conclusion is basically a summary of all the research. It contains the most notable findings and the validity or invalidity of the hypothesis. The recommendations are normally part or just go along with the conclusion, and they offer reflection or something about the solution. And then the bibliography and the appendices. The bibliography are the sources consulted to make the report. They are cited on APA format. And the appendices are supplementary information, either text on more topics or documents or images or graphs, all of that.
This diagram organizes the phases of a research project through a culinary analogy divided into three stages. The appetizers, which serve as an engaging introduction to hook the reader through the cover page, abstract, and an introduction using an inverted triangle approach. The main course, which constitutes the technical core where the theoretical framework, reproducible experimental agility, and statistical analysis of results using tools like R are developed, and finally, the dessert to go, where findings are consolidated through conclusions on the hypothesis. Future recommendations are offered, and documentary support is provided via appendices and APA style bibliography. Thanks for watching.